This is our 6th session, and it's all about soup. I love soup for its many good qualities. First of all, it's very satisfying and comforting. It's not expensive to make, and the process is really very simple. Plus, it can be very healthy when you include a lot of vegetables, but don't include a lot of salt and fat, which is very easy to do when you make your own. Plus, I love it because it can make use of things you might otherwise just throw away. And here's a perfect example. Americans buy more than 50 million rotisserie chickens every month. It's a very popular item. Now, if you would take this chicken before you take a single bite and divide it into the meat and the skin and bones and fat, and then you weigh them, you would find they're almost identical, which means under most circumstances, people throw away half of what they paid for. Well, why not take those bones, skin, and fat and make a rich, flavorful broth, much deeper flavor than that stock in a box? So we're going to show you an easy way to do it. But first, we're going to talk about the traditional method. Okay, now we're going to talk about the traditional way of making soup. First, you take your elements of your soup, which we're going to talk about more in a moment. But you put those elements in a pot with water, either on top of the stove, or in a pressure cooker, or in a slow cooker overnight. But either way, now you want to separate the elements of the soup from the liquid. So you're going to take that pot and you're going to pour it through a strainer into a pot. You must remember that it must be as big as your original pot. You got to be careful here because it's hot and steamy. Sometimes the pot can be slippery from the grease. Some pots these days have a built-in strainer, but you will probably want a finer strainer to take out the bits of herbs and things, such as this one, when you strain the soup. The trouble with this, especially if you've made the soup overnight and now you're going off to work, you end up with all these messy, dirty pans you may not have time to take care of right away. So I'm going to show you a much easier method that only creates one dirty pot. So here's the secret. In fact, if you're a lifelong soup maker, this may be the best soup hack anyone has ever given you. Cheesecloth. You can get this at any big box store or online. You cut off a piece and you line your pan with cheesecloth. This is 100% cotton. It's safe for the food. Now, if you're making cheese, you'll actually use multiple layers, but because you're just straining the main parts of the soup, one layer is really enough. You're going to take all of those leftovers, including any liquid down at the bottom, throw it into your pot. Now, the additions will be the thing that determines your own personal soup flavor. It's an herbs and spices and vegetables that will give it its distinctive taste. Now, traditionally, carrots, celery, onions, those are a real standard thing. Also bay leaf and salt and pepper. I like this one because it's a blend. It's got garlic, salt, and pepper. It's meant for a grill seasoning. My own special touch, I love smoked paprika. It adds extra color to the soup and a little smoky flavor that's really wonderful. Everybody in my family loves barbecue. You can actually even throw in potatoes. It'll thicken it a little bit. And of course, herbs, rosemary, parsley, basil, those will all make a distinctive flavor in your soup. Those will all go into here. Then this is equally important. You must have 100% cotton thread. You don't want plastic melting into your soup. You gather up all the pieces of the cheesecloth. They can take all the heat of the pot. You will tie securely a little bundle, just like this, and make sure you can find the end of it. What I'll do is I'll kind of wrap it around the extra there. I find that makes it easy to find the end after it's been cooking. I'm going to get a double knot, square knot, so it's nice and strong. And then you add your water. If you have some stock that is less than 4 days old, you can throw that right in there too. I won't really follow one particular recipe. I usually go into my refrigerator and look what's left over. It might be 1/4 of a cup of spaghetti sauce. It might be some chili garlic Thai soup. All of those can make an interesting soup. Okay, so what I would have done is put this in the cooker and cook it overnight. But now, here's the soup that's completely done. So what I do is I have a handle on my wall cabinet. I use a simple little hook. And that's it. Once it drains, that goes into the trash. So, you can decide. Do you want all these dirty pans? Or this simple one pan, which can be just covered with its own lid and put away into the refrigerator. What's your choice? If you include a lot of it. That's what that was. It was the Google. I unplugged it before. I thought, I don't know what this is. I guess I'll plug this in.
Outtake.